Before this review of God of War Ragnarok can begin, I have to address something that happened in my previous video. So in my previous video, I politely and generously talked about the blue blur and gave my opinion on his latest game. I really thought everything was going to be fine, since I just gave my opinion on the game. So I just went about my day and watched some Wings of Redemption.
Damn it, racist to a point. Fucking nerd.
Went to bed, had 3 hours of healthy sleep, and then I woke up, contemplating life, looked at my cracked phone, turned it on, opened up YouTube. I scrolled past all the Alpha M and Ben Shapiro videos until I got bored and saw that my notification bell was maxed out. So obviously, I clicked on it, and it led to my newest Sonic video. And to my dismay, I saw a mountain of Sonic haters blindly hating on me for literally no reason. I started pissing and shitting my pants, not out of sadness though, more so out of anger of them not respecting my opinion. But that's when I remembered, if you're a Sonic fan, your fate is to be condemned to hell, stuck forever, so it's only fitting that they would hate on an innocent gamer like myself. I can't really blame them for this behavior though. Believe it or not, Sonic fans were actually normal people. But sadly, fate was being a dickhead one day, and those normal people were knocked out by furries, then kidnapped and converted to the cult of Sonic, where they would worship their most devilish leader, Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's ignore that gibberish I just spouted, and look at the positives of this AAA Sonic game. So, Sega dropped a trailer, and I'm sure that all the Sonic tubers and reaction tubers are getting their money's worth. Anyways, the trailer begins with Sonic in an Unreal Engine habitat doing more anime stuff, and then a bunch of robots spawn in. Sonic beats the living hell out of all the robots, and then he fights more Unity bosses that will be 10 hits. After that, Sonic goes and fights the big bad boss. Before he does that, he starts running, and then he turns into a zesty piss rat, and then he goes to fight him. So, I really see that Sega's dumping a lot of money into this, and I couldn't be more happier. Sega's desperate right now, but that's making them try even more, which is really brilliant. I mean, I can't remember the last time Sega's cared this much for Sonic. I thought he was just gonna be a dead person for like 20 years. God of War Ragnarok is the latest installment to the God of War series. I received an early copy of the game, and I'm going to review it. They also sent me a PS5, because why not? Before this review of God of War Ragnarok can begin, I must say that the score that this game got on Metacritic is the most fakest thing I've seen all day. And if you actually believe that's true for even a second, well, you're a gullible consumer, and quite frankly, you're retarded. Let's begin with the story. The story begins with Kratos near a fireplace, and his son shows up. They made him older because he's annoying in the first game. No one likes annoying kids in games. No one wants that. They want to beat the fuck out of them if they see that shit. They fight some Greek god or something, and then they beat him up, and then they go to a portal, and then they beat up another Greek god. This cycle keeps continuing until Kratos unlocks something about his past. Obviously, the story for this game is brilliant, but that's where the pros for this game ends. After that, it's all cons. It seems like PlayStation was more focused on making a movie than an actual game. Alright, let's talk about the gameplay. The combat in this game feels very underwhelming. It's very clear that PlayStation copy and pasted the same combat from the previous game. But you see, this is where PlayStation fucks up. The combat in the previous game was not good. It was actually shit. Kratos just swinged his pickaxe around like he's a Neanderthal, while his son shot a crossbow that did like 1 damage to enemies. Speaking of enemies, they'd become so weak that I'm pretty sure Kratos' son could piss on them and they would evaporate from the world of God of War. I don't even want to talk about the bosses. Let's talk about the world of Ragnarok. The world of Ragnarok is based off Norse mythology. Norse mythology has always been a crowd pleaser. I mean, how could PlayStation possibly fuck this up? Well, somehow they did. Kratos is always clipping through the map because the environment is glitching. Whenever a cutscene happens, the frames drop. This is a PS5, man, I shouldn't be seeing this. And whenever a big cinematic cutscene plays, the animations are all wonky and unfinished. I think PlayStation's trying to hide the fact that this entire game was built off Unity.